Budget 2023 is here. We can also call it the Amrit Kal budget. So let us look at some of the key features or the key highlights from this budget. First of all, what is the vision for Amrit Kal? Now, opportunities for citizens have been announced with focus on the youth, growth and job creation. Okay, then strong and stable macroeconomic environments. Let us now look at the Saptarshi or the 7 priorities in the Amrit Kal. So first of all, there is inclusive development. Then there is reaching the last mile, so ensuring last mile delivery of welfare schemes, initiatives. Then there is youth power, so a specific focus on youth power, on bringing out, on leveraging the potential of the youth in this country. Then there is the financial sector, which there is a key focus on this area. Then there is green growth. We will talk about this in detail as we move on to the video, but a huge focus has been put on green growth in the country, unleashing the potential. Then there is infrastructure and investments. So these are the 7 priorities for the government in this Amrit Kal. Now let us move on. First bit under this is agriculture and cooperatives. Now building digital public infrastructure, then horticulture clean plant program to be launched. Then there is making India global hub for millets. So as you have seen, the government has focused on consumption of millets. It has been doing a lot of publicity around millets, how millets are beneficial not just for the country but the entire planet. So that bit is there. Then there is setting up of agriculture accelerator fund. Then there is another targeted funding of 20 lakh crore agricultural credit that will be targeted at animal husbandry, dairy and fisheries sector. Then there is setting up of widely available storage capacity. Now, if you look at this graph, it is quite interesting right here. So, how the credit to agriculture sector has increased over the years. So, here in this graph, you can see there is, since financial year 15 till financial year 2022, there is a growth, a clear-cut growth, which you can see through this graph. Similarly, there has been record food grain production. So over the years, food grain production in the country has increased. So now let us go to the inclusive development bit, talking about health sector. So in this, 157 new nursing colleges will be established in the country. Then a new program to promote research in pharmaceuticals will be launched, and again joint public and private medical research to be encouraged via ICMR labs. If you can see this graph, there is a clear-cut increase in expenditure on health and education in the country. Now let us look at education and skilling. What this aims to do: revamped teachers training via district institutes of education and training. Then there will be national digital library that will be set up, and then states will be encouraged to set up physical libraries at panchayat and ward levels. There is a big tent that accommodates everything, whatever the government has achieved in the last several years. So there is 9 crore drinking water connections to rural houses that have been provided. Now cash transfer of 2.2 lakh crore to over 11.4 crore farmers has been done under the PM Kisan scheme. Then there is insurance cover for 44.6 crore persons under PM SBY and PM JJY. Then there is 47.8 crore PM Jan Dhan accounts that have been created. Then 220 crore COVID vaccinations. Then 9.6 crore LPG connections under Ujjwala. 11.7 crore household toilets that have been constructed under Swachh Bharat mission. Let us go to how the government aims to reach the last mile. Pradhan Mantri PVTG development mission to be launched. Development mission aims to provide more benefit to the tribal communities in the country, especially the vulnerable groups. Then there is financial assistance to be given for sustainable micro irrigation in drought prone regions of Karnataka. Then more teachers to be recruited for 740 Eklavya model residential schools. This will be all over the country. Then Bharat Shri to be set up for digitization of ancient inscriptions. Now, what is the focus in infrastructure and investment? So, incentives to boost investment in infrastructure and productive capacity. Now, this is going to be a multiplier. This will result in rise in growth and employment in the country. Now, under this, there is an increased capital investment outlay of 33.4% to 10 lakh crore rupees. And there is highest ever capital outlay of 2.4 lakh crore for railways. Then 100 transport infrastructure projects identified for end-to-end connectivity of ports, coal, steel, fertilizer sectors. So overall boosting growth across all sectors. Now let us look at the next point. How does the government aim to unleash the potential? This is through trust-based governance. There are several measures and their expected outcomes. Then let us look at green growth. Now this is one of the most important bits in the budget today. Why? Because green economy is one area that the government really wants to develop, and through this budget it is trying to boost development of the green economy of the country. Now there is a PM Pranam to be launched. This will incentivize states and union territories to promote usage of alternate fertilizers. Then there is Green Credit Program. So what is this? This is going to be notified under EPA to incentivize sustainable actions. Then there is Sustainable Ecosystem Development, under which Mishti to be taken up for mangrove plantation along the coastline. Then there is Amrit Dharohar, which will be implemented for optimal usage of wetlands in the country. And then there are a number of programs under this. There is 500 new waste to wealth plants. How are you going to convert waste to wealth? So this waste plants will be established under Gobardhan scheme. Now let us look at what does this have for Amrit Peedhi. How are we unleashing the youth power? There is the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana 4.0, which will be launched, and this will cover new courses like coding, AI, robotics, 3D printing, etc. Measures to boost tourism sector, under which 50 destinations will be selected through challenge mode to be developed as a complete package for domestic and foreign tourists. And states will be encouraged to set up unity malls for promotion and sale of one district, one product, and GI and handicraft products. Let us look at the financial sector now. Setting up of National Financial Information Registry will be done, and then there is the setting up of a central data processing center. Then there will be Mahila Saman Bachat Patra. Now what does this aim to do? One-time new small savings scheme for a 2-year period with a deposit facility of rupees 2 lakh for women. And then there are benefits for senior citizens under this that has been announced. There's a credit guarantee scheme announced under this for MSMEs, and then there are a couple of other initiatives. Then there is fiscal management. 50-year interest-free loans to states will be provided. Fiscal deficit of 3.5% of GSDP allowed for states. And then there is fiscal consolidation. Under this, targeted fiscal deficit to be below 4.5% by 2025-26. Now let us move on and look at Indian economy backed by strong macroeconomic fundamentals. So what is this macroeconomic fundamentals that we are talking about? There is union government on the path of fiscal consolidation. This graph explains it, how fiscal deficit has reduced over the years. Then there is GST monthly revenue continues to remain around 1.5 lakh crore. Again, increasing capital expenditure of union government. Over the years, the increase in capex has been seen, as you can see through this graph. Now again, through this graph you can see asset quality in banks improving with lower NPAs. Then there is sufficient foreign exchange reserves to cover 9 months of imports, and wholesale prices converging to retail prices. Now let us move on to tax proposals, simplification in indirect taxes that aims to deliver higher exports, higher domestic manufacturing, more value addition in the economy, and green energy and mobility. Changes to custom duty on several areas, okay, several products, which is going to bring about benefits. Now let us look at direct tax proposals. Now this is one of the most important areas that the government wants to focus on. As you know, every year citizens are concerned about what is going to happen to the tax slab. So right here, the government aims to reduce compliance burden. Now, further simplifying personal income tax. There is an exemption limit that has been increased to 3 lakh rupees. And then income limit for rebate of income tax increased from 5 lakh to 7 lakh in the new regime. So at least that comes as a big sigh of relief to people falling in this income bracket. Then highest surcharge rate on income above 5 crore to be reduced from 37% to 25% under new regime. Then there is extending benefits of standard deduction to new tax regime for salaried class and pensioners. Then there is increasing tax exemption limit to 25 lakh on leave encashment on retirement for non-governmental salaried employees. Then simplifying tax benefits for industry. So how does this budget aim to simplify tax benefits for industries? Now, enhanced limits for micro enterprises and professionals to avail benefits of presumptive taxation, 95% of receipts to be non-cash, deduction on payments made to MSMEs to be allowed only when payment is actually made. So you see how tax benefits will be simplified for MSMEs, that is going to help the industry. Then extending 15% corporate tax benefits to new cooperatives commencing manufacturing till 31st March 2024. Then there is higher limit of 2 lakh, rupees 2 lakh per member for deposits and loans in cash by PACS and PCA RDBs. Higher limit of 3 crore for TDS on cash withdrawal for cooperative societies. Then this budget also aims to help provides tax benefits to the startups. Extension of the date of incorporation by 1 year for income tax benefits to startups has been announced. Benefit of carry forward of losses on change of shareholding of startups from 7 years to incorporation, 7 years of incorporation to 10 years. Then there is income of authorities, boards and commissions set up by statutes of the union or state to be exempted from income tax in certain sectors. This is how simplifying the tax benefits is going to help rationalization and extension of period of tax benefits to funds relocating to IFSC GIFT City till 31st March 2025. So these are some of the simplified tax benefits for the industry. Now let us look at where does the money come from and where does the money go to. It is a very interesting graph. 15% of the money or the rupee that the government has comes from income tax, borrowing and other liabilities 34%. Then there is corporation tax, which is 15%, GST and other taxes 17%, non-tax receipts is 6%, non-debt capital receipts is 2% and customs is 4%. So these are all the sources from which the money comes. Okay, and where does this money go? The biggest bit here is interest payments, which is 20%, then central sponsored schemes, which is 9%, 7% of this money goes to subsidies, 8% of this money goes to defense, then central sector schemes, 17%. Money from the government's coffers goes to 17% of central sector schemes. Then finance, commission and other transfers get 9%. States share of taxes and duties get 18% and other expenditure is 8%. Pensions is 4%. So you see where the money comes from and where the money goes to. Now let us look at the allocation for specific ministries. Under this, Ministry of Defence gets the highest allocation, which is 5.94 lakh crore. Then comes the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, which is getting a 2.70 lakh crores. Then Ministry of Railways, 2.41 lakh crores. Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution is getting a 2.06 lakh crores. Ministry of Home Affairs is getting 1.96 lakh crores. Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers is getting 1.78 lakh crores. Ministry of Rural Development is getting 1.60 lakh crores. Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare is getting 1.25 lakh crores. Ministry of Communications is getting 1.23 lakh crores. So this is the ministry-wise allocation of the budget. As you know, the government has focused a lot on welfare schemes over the last 8 years. And here, let us look at what all schemes are getting major benefits in this budget. Now let us look at receipts and expenditure. So this page is going to show you how there has been an increase in revenue receipts, capital receipts, revenue expenditure and effective capital expenditure. So overall, these were the biggest highlights of budget 23-24.